At the heart of my story, I think my own life story is pretty convoluted. It's layered. But if there was one key thing that I think described who I was as a person, was fatherless. I came from a home that was broken in terms of my parents were divorced. And then my father was killed when I was in first grade. And so I was kind of semi-raised by my grandparents. I lived with them for many years. And my grandfather was a small, fiery man. No brothers or sisters. Moved cities with my mom, lived in kind of lower income areas. Did my own thing. My mom was working, single mom, I did my own thing. And I think out of a desire my mom having for me not to become a boy of the streets like many of my friends did, she sent me to boarding school. When my dad had passed away, there was some money left in a government trust that enabled me to go to a private school. And so I went to a private Catholic school for 8 years. And in some ways that was really exciting because suddenly I found a brotherhood. I found guys my age. I never had that before. And so we built a great camaraderie. But on the other side, part of that is having some sexual abuse included in that story, which is obviously another layer. But at the end of it, a sense of being fatherless, not having great examples of impacting me as a father. And so at the end of school, military and thereafter, my life went a little wild. Just trying to, I think, establish my own identity, establish who I was as a person, in some ways rebelling, having everything going for me in terms of my ability to do things, but internally wrestling and so rebelling. When God saved me, He put me in a family. God takes the lonely and He puts them in families. So He put me in this family called the church. And so for me, church has always been shaped around the idea that the church is a family. And so for me, Mercytown needs to be a family. We all come from families. We all know the dynamics of interaction with parents and brothers and sisters and cousins and aunts and uncles. And they're wonderful ones and they are totally embarrassing ones. But we're part of a family. So now I have a role to play in that. To be a messenger, to be a lover of people, to be a carer of people, to create atmospheres where people feel welcome and cared for. We do it imperfectly, we are human. But nevertheless, that's what God calls us to. We didn't come just to start another church, to have another meeting. We wanted to build a community of people who loved God, who loved each other and wanted to do something together to impact the world. We want to see the church be a safe place where someone can come and vomit their worst and still be loved and cared for. But I still think that's the goal, is to build family, build community. If that's all inward and we just do family dinners the whole time, I think we miss out on something. I think the family is one that says, how do we help those who are not part of family to be included in family? So I think the heart of that's how I think I view church. It's this gospel that saves us then becomes the message that we have to give to others. I think it's established me as a person. It definitely cemented me into who I was as a believer. He saved me, and it was out of that. And then this word that God loves me as a father, it just cemented me that this gospel came and took me and put me in a family, adopted me, loved me, cared for me, became my father, was affectionate toward me. He was for me. I mean, it revolutionized my life. And so the gospel for me just became real. This gospel is the good news, is that this man, Jesus, wants me to have a relationship with his Father, and I can call him Dad as well.